Welcome to Digital Learning, an initiative of Directorate of Collegiate Education, Government of Karnataka. Eloquentia 3 is the title of the third semester General English textbook prescribed for the BSc stream affiliated to Bengaluru City University. Tara Mahesh Dattani is a literary component for 20 marks. Uh, in the previous two sessions, the first session, we introduced ourselves to the author and the play. And in the session number 2, we had a detailed discussion of the plot. This session, that is the third session, we'll be having a character sketch of the character sketch of all the relevant characters of the play, Tara by Mahesh Dattani. I'm Nandana NG, Assistant Professor of English, Government First Rate College, Malleshwaram. The contents of this session: objectives, session outcomes, threads of identity, characters of Tara, recapitulation, followed by a MCQ question session. The objectives of this session: to analyze the psychological depth of the characters in Tara, to explore societal norms, gender bias, and patriarchy shaping characters, to examine Chandan and Tara's bond as a reflection of trauma and identity, to highlight secondary characters' influence on the twins' fate, to understand Dattani's techniques of characterization. The learning outcomes. At the end of the session, the students will be able to have a clear understanding of the main and secondary characters. They will have the ability to identify and explain key traits and roles. They will get a clear insight into the characters as symbols of gender inequality. A critical perspective on emotional and social themes can also be gained by the students. And in the end, the students will have the confidence to present detailed character sketches academically. Let us try to define character analysis. What is character analysis? So before we proceed to that, let us see what is a character. A character can be defined as the mouthpiece of the author. Technically, a character might be a figment of his imagination, but then through the course of the character's thoughts, words, and actions, the narrative progresses and the author has a message infused in them. The characters in a narrative are, the writers use different techniques to create and describe characters. Narrative voice. The narrator may provide direct insight into a character's inner world by revealing their thoughts and emotions through the narrator. In the physical descriptions, the physical description of the characters give an insight into their life. Details like hairstyle and clothing can provide clues about a character's status, experience, and the period that they are in. Importance of dialogue. The words the characters say and how they say them can also reveal their thoughts and feelings. Actions and traits. These refer to what the character does and how they do it, which can provide insights into their motivations and emotions. Now, let us acquaint ourselves with the most important character of the play, Tara, the protagonist, Tara herself. Tara is a part of the conjoined twin of Chandan, separated through surgery at birth. She is bright, witty, and intelligent, with a lively personality. She shares a strong emotional bond with her brother. She suffers a disability which is not she was not born with it, but it is due to the biased surgical decision. She, in fact, represents the injustice and neglect faced by the women in patriarchal societies. Tara is full of potentials and dreams, but she is denied equal opportunities. She symbolizes innocence and the tragedy of wasted talent. She becomes the central figure of empathy in the play. Her death in the end signifies the silencing of women's voices. So, through Tara, Dattani critiques gender discrimination that is so much rampant everywhere in the society. The second important character is Chandan, later known as Dad. Tara's twin brother is emotionally close to her. He receives the advantage in the surgery due to patriarchal bias. We have to remember he did not ask for it. It was imposed on him, but then this ended up in his being guilty for a lifetime. He is very sensitive and deeply guilty about Tara's fate. Maybe throughout the latter part of his life, the question in his mind was, if only the legs were given to Tara, and if only Tara had a better life than me, if only I was not born along with her. Maybe all these ifs must have added to his guilt. After Tara's death, he escapes to London and renames himself Dan. Maybe he thought that by renaming himself, he can have a better life, but then, haunted by memories of Tara and his family's decision for the rest of his life, he ends up with a survivor's trauma. He represents both the privilege and the burden of being a male. Yes, because he was born as a male, he got the privilege of getting the healthier leg, which had a better choice to Tara, but still it was given to him because he was born a male. But then now he has to carry the guilt of taking away the only chance that Tara had. His struggle also shows how patriarchy damages men emotionally too. He uses writing as a way to process trauma and guilt. His detachment contrasts with Tara's vitality. So, Chandan symbolizes guilt, memory, and the burden of survival. Bharati, the mother. Bharati was a very good looking woman, and she had fallen in love with Mr. Patel, whom she had married against the wishes of her father. Initially, her father, Bharati's father, the very rich industrialist ex-MLA, he never accepted their relationship. Once, when he came to know that his daughter has given birth to conjoined twins, and one of the twin is a boy, his patriarchal bias came out, and then he reconciled with his daughter. Then we can see Bharti is deeply emotional and protective towards both her children, Tara and Chandan. But then she's torn between the love for Tara and her role in the bias surgery decision. Maybe to please her father, who spoke to her after such a long time, she agreed to his suggestion that the leg should be given to Chandan. But for a lifetime, for the remaining of her life, she started feeling guilty that if only she hadn't agreed, if only she had stood up for Tara. Guilt ridden, she tries to overcompensate by pampering Tara. Initially, when going through the play, we think that Bharti is a very loving mother, but then we realize her love is not completely genuine. In fact, it is a way of trying to compensate the guilt that she feels by taking away Tara's potential. As a result, she suffers frequent emotional breakdowns throughout the play, unable to sustain the guilt. She is influenced by a powerful father who prioritizes the boy over the girl. By being a mute spectator to her father's decision, patriarchal decision, she too becomes a victim of this guilt. She represents the compromised position of women in patriarchal families. Though born and raised in a rich family, yet she hasn't got the voice to express herself, and she never has the. She doesn't have the voice to, fight for her daughter's right. And in the end, the guilt eats her. Her overprotectiveness reflects both love and guilt. She struggles to reconcile maternal instincts with societal expectation. Bharati's character highlights the conflict between personal affection and social conditioning. In the end, Bharti, a tragic figure, shows how patriarchy harms mothers as well. Mr. Patel, the father or husband of Bharti, is a very practical, rational, and emotionally detached father. Though he is not directly involved in the decision of giving the healthy leg to Chandan, yet he doesn't oppose it. He, in fact, justifies the bias surgical decision as necessary. So, by being a silent accomplice, he represents patriarchy's authority and control within the household. He lacks emotional sensitivity towards Tara's suffering. He prioritizes Chandan's opportunities over Tara's well being. He sees Tara's disability as an unavoidable reality, not injustice. He symbolizes male authority in decision making. He acts as a foil to Bharati's emotional nature. While Bharati is on the one hand extremely emotional, Patel on the other hand is extremely detached and practical. Maybe the disparity between them had a traumatic effect on the twins. Patel believes in maintaining family honor and social norms, and his role reinforces the systemic gender bias in the family. But all in all, in the end, he ends up alone, as can be seen in the image. Post his wife being adopted to the asylum and the daughter's death, Chandan leaves him and moves to London, and Mr. Patel is left alone in the family. Rupa is a friend and a neighbor of Tara and Chandan. She is not a genuine friend of the twins. In fact, she has become their friend out of curiosity, and she displays curiosity and insensitivity towards Tara's disability by making taunting remarks. She often asks awkward questions, making Tara feel uncomfortable. She also represents society's superficial and judgmental attitude. She adds a social dimension to Tara's struggle. Rupa symbolizes the lack of empathy in the outside world. In fact, there is that one instance where Tara is on the way home and she, along with her friends, is instrumental in walking her. So Rupa can also be seen as a figure who is contrasted with Tara's depth and sensitivity, while Rupa is shallow, both outward and inward. Rupa reinforces how society isolates the disabled. She functions as a mirror of external prejudice, though a minor character, but completely significant in highlighting social insensitivity. Dr. Tucker, the doctor responsible for performing the surgery on the conjoined twins, he represents science and medicine, but he is compromised by societal pressures. He agrees to follow the family's biased decision favoring Chandan because he has been given a very lucrative offer by Bharati's father, maybe some land, gold, etc. And he falls for that against the principles of science, and he agrees to the decision favoring Chandan. So Dr. Tucker's attitude highlights how professional ethics can be overshadowed by patriarchy and power. So Dr. Tucker, through his wrong action, symbolizes medical authority intertwined with social injustice. His decision drastically alters Tara's fate, leaving her disabled. In fact, we can say that Dr. Tucker plays God. He is the one who does the surgery, knowing very well that by giving the healthy leg, which had a better chance of attaching itself to Tara, by giving that healthy leg to Chandan, who did not have much of a choice, he is in fact ruining Tara's life. He knew that, but still he went ahead with that surgery. So we can say that literally it is he who is instrumental for Tara's fate. He serves as an instrument of the grandfather's patriarchal influence. His character emphasizes how institutions like medicine are not neutral. Dr. Tucker reflects the complicity of professionals in perpetuating discrimination. So, all in all, Dr. Tucker is a reminder that even scientific choices can be corrupted by gender bias. The grandfather. The grandfather is a very important character because throughout the play he is absent, but his powerful presence is seen very clearly. He never appears on the stage, but he shapes the play's events. And another fact to be noted is his name is never mentioned. So a character who is nameless, who doesn't appear on the stage, yet is instrumental enough to turn the destiny of the family. So in fact, the grandfather can be considered as a very, very important character. He is Bharti's father, a wealthy, politically influential patriarch with authority over the family. He played a decisive role in the twins' surgery outcome. He overruled medical advice that the leg should go to Tara. He favored Chandan due to gender bias and male privilege. The grandfather can be seen as a symbol of patriarchy and tradition, which tries to preserve the boy's future. The character also shows generational oppression of women. Bharti cannot defy him. He represents invisible societal forces that shape family decisions. His influence causes Tara's suffering and trauma. So, through the character of the grandfather, Dattani uses him to critique patriarchy, injustice, and blind tradition. Dan, that is the older Chandan in London. Chandan's adult self living in London calls himself Dan. He is haunted by guilt over Tara's tragic fate and early death. He uses writing as a way to confront his memories and trauma. He represents escape from the past, yet cannot truly detach from it. He symbolizes, or the older Chandan symbolizes the psychological cost of patriarchy on men. His life abroad shows alienation and dislocation from his roots. After being separated from his twin, Tara, he is unable to survive alone. We saw in the initial part of the play how he is deeply attached to his twin sister, but post her death and the trauma of the guilt that he is also indirectly responsible for her death, he is unable to live a normal life. He struggles with survivor's guilt, knowing he benefited from Tara's loss. His narrative frames the play blending memory and present. His character shows how unresolved guilt continues to haunt across time and space. His character also acts both as a narrator and a tragic figure burdened by conscience. This image that is incorporated here is one of his memories. While in London, while trying to compose the play, at the end, when he realizes that he cannot compose the play without that feeling of guilt, he imagines meeting Tara elsewhere in another realm, maybe in another sphere, or maybe in some other lifetime, and being happy with his twin sister. So, we have dealt in detail, or the character analysis of all the major characters has been done in the session. So, it's time you apply what you learned by a recapitulation session followed by a MCQ question session. Recapitulation. Tara, the sensitive, intelligent twin, deeply affected by patriarchal bias, she represents emotional strength yet tragic victimhood. Chandan, loving, protective brother with a strong bond with Tara, struggles with guilt and suppressed trauma. Bharati, the mother, overprotective yet emotionally unstable. She is haunted by guilt. She can also be seen as the symbol of maternal love compromised by patriarchy. Patel, the father, he's very practical, a detached figure, prioritizing societal norms. He embodies patriarchal power and decision making. Dr. Tucker, the surgeon who influenced by family's preference, not ethics. His character reflects moral compromise in medical practice. Rupa, a friend who represents societal judgment and gossip, highlights social insensitivity and superficiality. The older Chandan, also known as Dan, is a narrator haunted by past decisions and guilt, represents memory, regret, and search for redemption. Multiple choice question. The first question, what is the central theme of Mahesh Dattani's Tara? The options are the importance of education in India, gender discrimination and lost potential, the conflict between urban and rural life, political corruption in society. The answer is option B, gender discrimination and lost potential. Second question, why did Tara end up with a physical disability after the surgery? The options are the doctors made a mistake during the operation. She was naturally weaker than Chandan. The family, influenced by Bharati's father, gave the advantage to Chandan because he was a boy. Tara herself chose to sacrifice for her brother. The answer is option C. The family, influenced by Bharati's father, gave the advantage to Chandan because he was a boy. Third question, what does Chandan do after Tara's death? He becomes a doctor in India. He moves to London and adopts the name Dan. He marries Rupa to escape guilt. He forgets the past and lives happily. The answer is option B. He moves to London and adopts the name Dan. Which character symbolizes guilt and emotional breakdown in the play? Patel, Rupa, Bharati, Chandan. The answer is option C, Bharati. The last question. What does Tara's artificial leg symbolize in the play? Scientific progress in medicine, the strength of family bonds, lost opportunities and the limitations imposed by patriarchy, Hope for a brighter future. The answer is option C, lost opportunities and the limitations imposed by patriarchy. Tara's story lingers like an unfinished tear, echoing the silent wounds of bias and the aching quest for love and equality. References used for this session. Thank you.